the estimation of almost everyone for Kessler. 7 years younger than Calzaghe. 1 inch taller than Calzaghe. Arm length, 2 inches more for Kessler, measured from the armpit to the end of the fist. Calzaghe worked hard to make weight and was surprised to find himself under 167 on the scale yesterday. Kessler at first failed to make 168, had to remove a couple of articles of clothing, then stepped back onto the scale and made it on the nose. Rules of the bout with our unofficial ringside scorer, Harold Letterman.
The Joe Calzaghe Mikkel Kessler fight is scheduled for 12 rounds using the unified rules. No 3 knockdown rule. Only the referee can stop the fight. You go to the scorecards after 4 rounds on an accidental headbutt, and you can't be saved by the bell at any round, including the 12th. Jim!
And as we set all that up, Mikkel Kessler begins his walk to the ring. An important part of the politics of the fight was the question of where it would take place. Kessler has been difficult to lure out of Copenhagen throughout his career. He's a tremendous draw there. Calzaghe has been impossible to get off the shores of Great Britain by and large. At the end of the day, when Calzaghe fought Peter Manfredo and 35,000 people showed up, that sealed the deal, Max.
Well, that's right. You know, this is the first pure super middleweight super fight, because both guys have spent practically their entire professional careers, their significant portion of their careers professionally, in the division, and they don't plan on going anywhere soon. Similarly, they've spent their entire significant careers professionally in their hometowns. Ultimately, Calzaghe, who can draw 50,000 plus,
world champion,
has more economic clout than Kessler.
And so now you see Michael Buffer introduces Kessler as he walks into the ring. Emmanuel Stewart, if you were training Kessler, how worried would you be about the scene, about the crowd of 50,000 plus, about the fact that he'll find no support in this jam-packed arena?
I believe that it could be a major factor, and I take it serious. I mean, we experienced that just recently with Jermaine Taylor and the fight that with Kelly Campbell, especially when the guy's not used to that, and he's had all of his fights, which virtually Kessler's had in his own home country. But I believe that he will prevail, and it will not bother him too much, but it is going to have some effect.
As you look around the arena, Kessler might find the chance to see about, 9 or 10 Danish flags. But there's a smile on his face because he's gotten the chance to find his defining fight, and there must have been moments in his career, Max, when he worried that Calzaghe would never open the door.
It's to Calzaghe's credit. He's always claimed that he wanted to fight the big fights, and Frank Warren and economic circumstances were such that they eluded him. Now, over the last several fights, Jeff Lacey and now Kessler, he's proving that he will fight the big fights.
It's called a unification fight. Kessler holds 2 of the 4 belts in the division. Calzaghe has held the belt that he has enforced as his own for more than 10 years, 20 title defenses. There is another belt in the division, but it's immaterial tonight. The winner of this fight is clearly the best in the world. And get ready for the roar.
Joe Calzaghe!
Any fighter would love it. It's hard to imagine anybody loving it more and more openly than Joe Calzaghe does.
Well, there's a lot of other fighters. I think Felix Trinidad, to me, was admitted. He would enjoy the excitement when he came in the ring, I think, more so than he did fight. But this means a big factor. You know, when you have a good, exciting crowd like this, it makes the fighters fight better. They get excited. The adrenaline level goes up with both athletes, and you get a much better fight than you normally would get with a dead or a small crowd.
Some have criticized Calzaghe for not having faced opposition in America. After his victory here over Manfredo, he scathingly pointed out, hey, Bernard Hopkins and Winky Wright won't draw 10,000 fans in Las Vegas. Why do I have to go there?
Joe Calzaghe has drawn over 50,000 fans tonight. Why should he ever have to go anywhere?
I still personally would like to see him come to America. I think for him to be accepted and be more credited, in my mind, I would like to see him be able to fight away from having such a strong partisan crowd.
And if he wins tonight, there's almost no question he'll do it. He and Bernard Hopkins have begun flirting and dancing verbally with each other over the course of the past several months, and there are a lot of people who would love to see it. Perhaps even in Hopkins' suggested venue of Yankee Stadium in New York. Let's go to Michael Buffer now in the ring.
Silent for the national anthem of Denmark. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the multi-award winning Bridge and Male Voice Choir to sing the national anthem of Wales. Ladies and gentlemen, from Millennium Stadium, Cardiff, Wales, Mr. Frank Warren for Sports Network is proud to present the main event of the evening, brought to you in association with FrankWarren.tv and International Entertainment, along with Setana Sports and HBO, sponsored by Nemiroff and The Sun. This is the contest we've all been waiting for. Undefeated champion versus undefeated champion. 12 3-minute rounds for the universally recognized, undisputed super middleweight championship of the world. Sanctioned by the British Boxing Board of Control, Lord Brooks and John Reese QC, stewards in charge. The World Boxing Organization, supervisor, Mr. John Duggan of the United States. The World Boxing Association, supervisor, Senor Renzo Bagnarial. The World Boxing Council, supervisor, Monsieur Bob Louis of Belgium. At ringside, the 3 judges scoring this contest will be from Italy. Signore Massimo Baravecchio. From the United States, Mr. Raul Caiz. From the United States, Jon Stewart. Inside the ring, referee in charge of the action, also from the United States, Mr. Michael Ortega. And now, for the tens of thousands in attendance in person and the millions watching around the world. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble! Fighting out of the red corner, wearing red with white, official weight 168 pounds. He made his professional debut in 1998 and captured the WBA World Championship in 2004. He added the WBC title in 2006. His record is a perfect one, consisting of 39 bouts, 39 victories, including 29 knockouts. From Copenhagen, Denmark, the reigning, defending WBA, WBC super middleweight world champion, the Viking Warrior, Mikkel Kessler. Fighting out of the blue corner, wearing black with white, official weight 166 pounds, 7 ounces. He currently is the longest reigning champion in the world and one of only 6 men in boxing history with 20 successful world title defenses. In 43 bouts, he has 43 victories, including 32 knockouts. Presenting the fighting pride of Newbridge, Wales, the reigning, defending, undefeated WBO super middleweight champion of the world, Calzaghe.
Gentlemen, we went over the rules in the dressing room. I expect a good, clean fight. Protect yourself at all times. Obey my commands at all times. Good luck to both of you. Touch them up and come out fighting at the bell.
A little over a month ago, Kelly Pavlik knocked out Jermaine Taylor for the middleweight championship by having faith that boxing fundamentals would overcome unorthodox athleticism. Mikkel Kessler will try to do the same thing here right now.
Round one begins. And one question is, how aggressive will Calzaghe be against the man regarded as a bigger puncher? Joe Calzaghe has never backed down against anyone.
Every indication right now is that he intends to be extremely aggressive and apply a lot of pressure on Kessler, who's normally a technical fighter who likes to think, and they believe that Calzaghe is going to tonight try to put pressure, make him fight faster than he normally fights, to make him offset his thinking.
In his great rounds, and there have been many of them, Mikkel Kessler throws many more jabs than is the average in this weight class. Sometimes upwards of 50 jabs per round. He'll want to try to get it going despite Calzaghe's southpaw stance. Not always an easy assignment. If there's been a significant punch so far, it was an early body shot by Calzaghe.
But at this stage right now, it's a very tight technical fight. I think that Calzaghe, being such a great technical and adjusting type fighter, is realizing that he's dealing with a little different opponent than he's been in the past. And I see him right now not being so overly aggressive and careless as he was in the beginning, because Kessler's taking advantage of his mistakes because of his great position and balance.
Both fighters are regarded as great managers of distance. Guys who know exactly how to set up in such a way that they can land and force the other man to miss. One question tonight is who can win the battle of distance? Then can Calzaghe get inside of Kessler's offense? Can Kessler keep Calzaghe at the end of his big punches?
People bring up Sugar Ray Leonard and Tommy Hearns when discussing this fight. Like Leonard and Hearns, both these guys can punch. They can both box. It is unclear who will wind up being the aggressor here, who will wind up being the boxer.
I agree with you. And also, I mean, looking like Calzaghe is punching with a little bit more thought and much more straighter with his punches than he has in the past.
Well, Calzaghe says, when I throw roundhouse punches, it's because I'm fighting lesser opponents and I don't concentrate as well. Look at what I did to Lacey, where he poured his offense down the middle time and time again and hit Lacey with an unending barrage of accurate shots. For the moment, Kessler is able, when he fires his double jab and brings the right hand behind it, to back Calzaghe off.
That's right. This has been a very good fight so far. No one has really established control. Both have landed a few clean blows, but you can't make a mistake. Both are punching very accurate and very sharp.
Couple of body shots for Calzaghe, one inside right hand for Kessler. Not much to choose between them in round one.
Not much to choose. Round may go to Calzaghe possibly because of his body rhythm, which creates excitement like he's doing more. Whereas, on the other hand, Kessler doesn't do a lot of moving around and jumping and moving his hands and feet.
Jab, don't rush your jab, all right? You're not throwing left hand, you rush your jab, you're not throwing left hand jab. You've got to get his jab working, all right? Okay, so far so good. Okay, you're not punching the hurt. You got some feints in, all right? Start whacking him on the body. All right, get your range, right? That's okay. Nothing wrong with that, right? You put it in for the first jab. Right. And you look at it. Flash and pass! Put it on. But this to me, you then go to the jab. Let the jab travel, double jab, and come in with 3 forwards. It's pace. You listen now?
For the moment, they're speaking English in Kessler's corner. We hadn't anticipated that. We do have a Danish interpreter. Yes, Mortensen. CompuBox numbers in round one. Calzaghe 15 out of 64. Kessler 8 out of 43. So if there was an edge there, it belonged to the Welsh fighter, the home fighter. One big question, of course, given the venue, is does Kessler have to score a knockout to win the fight? Can he win a decision on Welsh turf in what's expected to be a close fight? Kessler, of course, says what everyone would say about that. I'm not concerned about it, or I'll take it out of the hands of the judges.
It was interesting talking to a lot of the people here from Welsh. A lot of them give Kessler a very good chance of winning the fight, much more than I expected.
And we can see why. Kessler is studying Calzaghe, measuring the distance, landing short counter punches inside.
Good left hook there by Kessler. Incidentally, his mother is English, migrated to Denmark. There's a warning from Michael Ortega to Joe Calzaghe about holding behind the head. So Kessler is technically half English, half British, although that doesn't cut much ice with the Welsh crowd. Kessler stepping in just a little closer now to fire his left jab.
Yeah, both guys are very leery because they're having problems adjusting to the speed. But I don't think either one has ever fought a fighter of the caliber that they're fighting tonight. But Calzaghe is very tricky, punches from different angles, and he punches very good and close, surprisingly, sometimes, even though he's a tall guy.
Emmanuel, is it inevitable when you step in and realize you're fighting somebody better than you've ever faced before, that for a few moments at least you become cautious?
Yes, and I think that's what happened to both guys.
Big right hand attempted by Kessler, just missed. Now he lands the right hand, drives Calzaghe into the ropes, and Calzaghe bounces off with a right hand of his own. But Kessler's punches are starting to find the mark.
Well, as Kessler said when we spoke, he may not be as fast as Calzaghe, but it's not that much difference in his speed.
And the straightest distance between, the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line. Kessler punches straighter than Calzaghe.
But, you know, Calzaghe has a much better upper body movement. His head is much more difficult to predict as compared to Kessler. Kessler's head is very stationary.
And as Calzaghe's proven throughout his career, he's wildly competitive. If you touch him, he's coming back.
Yeah, and he mixes up. He'll throw a looping left hand around the side of the head, and the next time he'll shoot it right through the middle.
Guys,
two right hands by Calzaghe.
This round, almost every significant punch has been landed by Kessler that I've seen.
But still, the rhythm of Calzaghe, I think, may bother going down the stretch Kessler because he's making Kessler's mind have to function a lot more.
Body shot inside by Calzaghe. Kessler again with the right hand. Fight is getting a little bit more active. Immediately following our telecast, stay tuned for the premiere of Countdown to Cotto Mosley. Our behind-the-scenes look at both of those fighters as they prepare for their welterweight championship fight 1 week from tonight, live on pay-per-view.
It's good. Please throw the power shot. Listen to me. Are you trying to...
The Kessler corner wants him to keeping his distance and don't show too much respect. Keep pressuring him, keep up the tempo, and focus on his body. Keep hitting him hard. Hard punches, hard punches. Come on, keep the pressure.
You saw the CompuBox numbers on overall punches. Power punches through round 2. Calzaghe 15 of 55, 27%. Kessler 10 of 27, 37%. So Kessler a little more focused on power shot. Down goes Kessler, and that's a slip. Crowd responded as though it was a knockdown, but clearly it was a slip. Michael Ortega wants time to wipe off the gloves of Mikkel Kessler, who was ready to go back to fighting right away.
Not only was it a slip, Kessler had just landed a good punch.
Good right hand by Kessler. Calzaghe comes back with a left and begins to throw his arms wide and wing his punches. An occasional Calzaghe habit. But Joe thinks that his hand-speed advantage is starting to come into play.
Well, I think not just his hand speed, just his so fierce determination was he seems to be panicking because he realizes how close this fight is, and nobody's got a really decided edge, and he seems to be punching more in desperation to try to establish an advantage.
And you see how much more precise in his technique Kessler is as he sticks within the envelope, throwing his jab and the right hand in totally conventional fashion. Now Calzaghe begins to get squirrely and wild.
Calzaghe's trying to impose his will on Kessler as he has with every opponent he's ever fought. Kessler is unlike any opponent he's ever fought. I don't know that he can simply impose his will by wildly winging punches.
I believe he's beginning to impose his will. I may be wrong. He seems to be, he's making Kessler fight at a much faster pace, and the punches are coming from so many different angles, and Kessler's more of a basic fighter.
And it's fascinating that Calzaghe's brave enough here in round 3 to drop his hands to his waist and showboat just a little bit.
He always does that to somebody.
I know. But some thought he wouldn't do it tonight. Straight left hand landed for Calzaghe. Reaching for the body shot there. Kessler's corner asked him to focus on the body, but by and large, I think Mikkel is mostly throwing up there. Good left hand by Calzaghe. And another. And another. And suddenly Calzaghe is landing his straight left right down the chute. Kessler gets in a right hand, but Calzaghe keeps coming.
The pressure is mounting. And I don't know if Kessler's going to hold up much longer if the fight can continue this pace unless he can seriously hurt Calzaghe to slow him down.
Backs him off with a left hook there.
I don't get that impression, Emmanuel. Although Calzaghe clearly is winning this round.
As you might have expected against a southpaw opponent, Kessler hasn't been as consistent with his jab as is the case in most of his fights.
That's the place you can put his neck. That's the way you can box him. That's the way you can... Where's his punch? Go fucking what? Go what? Fuck all it. Where's his punch? Are you okay? You got 4 rounds. That's what he did. That's what he did, please. Right? Okay? That's amazing, right?
Keep up your tempo, Mikkel. Don't let him take too long breaks. Just keep pressing him. Don't give him any chances. Don't give him it. Keep going at him. Just keep going.
Right here you see a shot that comes over that lands to the body, but it is more of an off-balance situation. But it really wasn't a clear knockdown by any means, as much as it was balance. But here you see Calzaghe come back and land a clean counter left hand at the end.
Power punches in round 3. Calzaghe was 13 out of 48. Kessler 12 out of 19. Calzaghe throwing many more punches. That usually catches the eye of the judges. Harold, how do you have it through 3?
Okay, Jim. 2 rounds to 1. 29-28. Joe Calzaghe. Jim, southpaws love to get off first, love to come forward, love to do that. Right jab, straight left hand. They love to back up their opponents. They're really big when they find out a back foot going backwards. In rounds 2 and 3, Joe Calzaghe constantly got off first, took it to Kessler, and he won the rounds 2 and 3. 2-1, Calzaghe. One quick thing, Joe's wearing Grant gloves, Kessler's wearing Everlast. Come on, Megan!
Now, you might suspect that means that Joe is protecting his oft-injured hands with a more protected glove. Oh, and they trade punches in the middle of the ring.
After Calzaghe beat Kessler's corner back into Danish, Kessler's come out this round, it seems, wanting to stop Calzaghe from bullying.
Big uppercut by Kessler.
Best punch of the fight.
Calzaghe holding and then gets in a body shot as they pull away. Yeah, Kessler's uppercut was the first really solidly landed power punch.
And I think it hurt, for a moment, I think it hurt Calzaghe too.
Calzaghe showing a very good chin, absorbing some crisp, clean shots this round.
We were talking about the choice of gloves. Calzaghe wearing Grant and Kessler wearing Everlast. Calzaghe has often been bedeviled by hand injuries in the past. So too has Kessler. He has titanium in both hands. And it was Kessler who was rumored in the build-up to the fight to have missed as much as 2 or 3 weeks of sparring with an injured right hand. He, of course, said that wasn't the case, but British journalists are persistent in saying it was true.
Well, it's a lot.
Big uppercut by Kessler
again. A lot
again.
of talk has been about the hands, and both guys going into this fight. The hands have been a big factor.
And now Kessler's jab begins to land, as his uppercut has twice caught Calzaghe in his tracks in this round. I think Kessler may have found something new here, Emmanuel, with that uppercut.
Kessler's beating him because he's landing more solid accurate punches. And I think that right uppercut really got Calzaghe's attention early in the round. And he hasn't really recuperated mentally from that, I don't believe.
These guys are punching, in particular Kessler, very hard. And a super fight has broken out in this super fight.
See how Calzaghe responds to the barrage of uppercuts. As usual, he's going to do it by throwing as much leather as he can.
This has turned out to be a very good fight.
All you need is to keep pressuring him. He'll get tired. Don't give him any breaks. Just keep attacking him. Don't give him any peace.
Han kommer selv lille hurtigt efter en slag. So you shot the hands must be throwing. All right, get some bars. Some bars in there.
Breathe deep, come on.
Get some right. You know it's going to be hard work. You know that. You know.
Right here you see Kessler land a beautiful counter left, right, just as Calzaghe comes in, leading himself off balance a little bit as he's coming in. Overly aggressive. And here you see the uppercut, which I think was the best punch of the fight so far. Both were counter punches.
And there was another uppercut later in the round, which likewise landed solidly. It was a very good round for Mikkel Kessler. They've been fighting on relatively even terms now into the 5th.
Calzaghe showing why he's a long reigning champion in the face of a younger, fresher, more accurate opponent. He continually meets those crisp counterpunches with counterpunches of his own.
And Emmanuel, the pattern that most reporters expected has clearly emerged. Calzaghe throws more, Kessler lands harder.
Kessler lands harder, and Kessler seems to be more effective when he counterpunches, more so than when he goes aggressive.
Plenty of opportunity to do that,
right,
the way Calzaghe throws.
Calzaghe gets over anxious sometimes and jumps in trying to get points and leaves himself open for counters.
Calzaghe ducking over the right hand, or ducking under the right hand there. We'll see when Kessler goes back to the uppercut as Calzaghe ducks his upstairs punches.
Both guys are taking turns, taking the lead in the control in this fight, which means it's a good fight.
Sometimes it's Kessler who's being backed up by Calzaghe's aggression. Sometimes it's Calzaghe who's being backed up by Kessler's superior punching power and hard jab.
Because of what's at stake here, this fight had, and the styles, this fight had the potential to be less than aesthetically pleasing. But these guys are creating beautiful, high-level stuff here.
Personally, myself, Max, I'm enjoying it because you see a little bit of everything. Boxing skills, exchanges, and every time one guy feels the other guy's taking control, he fires right back trying to take control himself. And I think it's going to be like that all the way through. The fight could end up being a very close, controversial decision where it's going.
And both guys are remarkably accurate punchers, and as they tire down the stretch, that will come more into play. Because it's harder in the late rounds to defend yourself against precise punching, and they can both punch longer than they can defend.
I think if it goes down the stretch and continues to pace, it might be a slight edge, might go to Calzaghe possible.
There's a trickle of blood from the right nostril of Kessler's nose. Clearly the result of a Calzaghe left hand. Hard right hand by Kessler. Sunday, November 18, tune into the premiere of our 4-episode series, Mayweather Hatton 24/7. We'll take our cameras to Las Vegas and to Manchester, England, for a revealing look into both fighters' lives and training camps as they get set for their December 8 welterweight fight live on HBO pay-per-view. Floyd Mayweather, Ricky Hatton, 24/7.
You got to start sparking. You got to start sparking. Shining. Start shining. Get jab work. Get a combination. You're doing one thing only. You can't jab only. Right? You don't fight.
Here we see Kessler once again landing the counterpunch. 1-2 after Calzaghe comes in and gets out of position. And it's been the continued pattern for most of the punches that Kessler have landed tonight.
A fast pace into round 6 of the scheduled 12. Calzaghe is a southpaw who squares up and faces his opponents a lot of the time.
Yeah,
in this round, he's being very careful to keep his right shoulder in front.
Because most of the time that Calzaghe gets hit is after he throws his punches, his end up square and with his head falling forward out of position. And that's when Kessler lands those nice counter punches on him.
Kessler's getting hit more this round. Calzaghe's not throwing hard, he's just touching him, but he's more successfully doing it.
Now, good point, Max. It's a boxing round for Calzaghe so far. And Kessler, incidentally, is hearing his corner yelling for the uppercut because since the big barrage of uppercuts in round 4, he seems to have gone away from it.
Yeah, but right now the tempo, as I said earlier, of Calzaghe, I think is starting to take his effect. You know, both guys, but he's never fought anybody that punches with the authority of Kessler, so he's in a new territory as far as he's concerned in this fight also.
Well, when you think about the judging of the fight, Calzaghe is throwing almost twice as many power punches by CompuBox count. Not landing them, throwing them. It's my experience in watching judges that the number of punches you throw is way more important than the number of punches you land.
Right. This round he has not been as successful in hitting Calzaghe as much as he has in the past couple of rounds.
Calzaghe mostly sticking to the jab in this round, as Max pointed out, just touching Kessler, but very effectively so. And Kessler seems to have lost his rhythm for the moment.
Yeah, but you know, he's still punching that short active punches, and all of a sudden he'll explode again. But I just believe that the tempo that Calzaghe said is starting to take his effect.
Calzaghe, it appears to me, has landed more clean punches in this round than he has in the entire fight until this round.
And has been defensively very good in this round also, too.
A boxing round. Look at how he keeps his right shoulder in front. Now he squares up momentarily, but immediately goes back into the southpaw stance.
And his father told him it's time to shine, I believe he said.
It's a great story. Joe Calzaghe, having been trained since age 9 by his father, Enzo Calzaghe, who, when he began this enterprise, had no background in boxing whatsoever, actually had to read instructional books to figure out what to tell his son. He's done pretty doggone well, Emmanuel.
Fantastic, and this guy, he's a tremendous athlete, too. You know, the same punch that Kessler's been landing effectively, he's been studying Calzaghe. He lets Calzaghe fall forward and then takes a step back and throws a 1-2.
More blood from the nose of Kessler after Calzaghe appeared to win a boxing round.
You're getting hit way too much. Just use your uppercuts and get out to the sides. You're not in front. You're behind now. Something has to happen. You're looking way too much at him. Go ahead.
Listening. Good, extra round, fabulous round. All right, I want more. All right, 6 more rounds like that. All right? Yeah. No, let's poke the jab to him. Poke the jab in, poke to him. The job's yours.
Exterior of this terrific Millennium Stadium. A rugby pitch tonight set up for a crowd of more than 50,000 for a boxing match. Jabs in round 6. Calzaghe 14 out of 55 jabs. That sounds like something Kessler might have done. Kessler 7 out of 37, and you heard Kessler's trainer Rickard Olsen saying, "You're behind, something has to happen." Harold, is he behind?
Absolutely. 58, 56, 4 rounds to 2, Joe Calzaghe. Jim, who's going with southwest shoulders. Right jab, straight left. Backing him up, taking it to him. He's winning his fight, not only on clean punching, but on effective aggressiveness. Kessler's got to do more of that. He's got to get off first and back up Calzaghe. Right now, Calzaghe won rounds 4 and 5. He's in the lead, 4-2.
Kessler landed one of those uppercuts a couple of seconds ago as he goes back to the punch that served him so well in round 4. There's a great combination by Joe Calzaghe, and he sticks the jab twice more. And lands his left hand.
He's not just touching him in this round, he's hurting him, Calzaghe.
And you know, on top of the Calzaghe's defense has been perfect. He hasn't been hit with a clear effective punch that I've saw in the last 2 rounds virtually.
So Calzaghe went to another level in round 5, and he's keeping it there now as he seems to begin taking over control of the middle portion of the fight.
We've seen Calzaghe turn boxer. Can Kessler now turn brawler?
Well, the most effective thing, as I said, Kessler was led, and he had been studying so much to take advantage of Calzaghe's bad position when he would get off balance. Right there. He only lands after Calzaghe throws a punch and gets out of position.
Kessler mixed in another one of those uppercuts in that exchange, and now he begins to seem to get more comfortable, but once again gets clocked with 2 straight Calzaghe lefts. And again, as Harold Letterman pointing out, it's mostly Calzaghe backing Kessler up. Now Calzaghe flirts with danger a little bit more in closer quarters with Kessler, and there's a mark of blood between Calzaghe's eyes on his upper or lower forehead. I think one of those uppercuts may have drawn the blood on Calzaghe. Big right cross by Kessler. He tries the uppercut again. Big body shot by Kessler. Hard left hook to the body, well thrown. And now Calzaghe begins to feel the urgency.
Yeah, but Kessler's having a pretty good round in terms of landing clean punches, but still it's a fast pace that I don't think he's comfortable with.
Calzaghe's discouraging Kessler because he's walking through those punches.
And after every time that Kessler lands a good punch, Mad Mac, he goes right back to him right away. It makes him have to keep having to spend more energy.
Ebb and flow, shifting tides of fortune as we reach the end of the 7th in Cardiff.
You jabbing his ass and you lost the fucking punch. Listen to me, Joe. Yeah. You boxed his ass off. Yeah, thanks. Beautiful work. Can you keep it up, Joe? Can you keep it? He had to rally 4 shots. Big deal. Just do not ban the jab for me, Joe. As you're doing, nothing more than that. It's fantastic. You boxed his fucking ass off. You lose your angry ball.
You have to attack him. Go forward. You give him too much space. Way too much. Attack him. Just keep going forward.
7's coming up, right?
Yeah. Come on, the 6th is over. Come on. Just keep going forward. It's now or never. Don't give him anything. Anytime. Go forward.
Kessler's corner begging their man to go forward. Enzo Calzaghe praising his son, saying you boxed his ass off. Calzaghe threw 105 punches in the 7th round and begins to set up a working margin on Harold Letterman's scorecard. We're into the 8th. Calzaghe beating Kessler to the punch with his jab. It's been a pattern for most of the last few rounds.
Kessler's more aggressive this round. He's actually leading the attack this round here.
That was a big left hook by Mikkel Kessler.
Yeah. Instead of waiting the counter punches he's been doing most of them, he's actually aggressively going after Calzaghe this round.
But dropping his hands and allowing Calzaghe to land upstairs. Good straight right hand inside by Kessler.
Kessler's punching with a lot of authority right now this round.
Again, the left hook from Kessler. He's trying to make it into more of a fight.
He's fighting right now, and everything he's punching is with full power.
Both guys are throwing bombs, and they're both good punchers.
Kessler's a better puncher, though.
Yes.
And he's doing exactly what he has to do because he was systematically losing the fight the way it was going. So I think he's coming out now to let it all hang out one way or the other.
Kessler needed to change. He needed to do something extra, and he started to do it, and Calzaghe has responded.
And Calzaghe walked into a left hook as he was responding, but walked through the left hook and kept coming.
Kessler spent a lot of energy in the first part of this round, and now he may have to pay for that because he's getting a little tired. And Calzaghe, as always, is going to step up the pace right now, realizing that he may have lost the round so far.
Yep, but you know, when you look at the uppercuts earlier, several right crosses, and the left hooks in the last couple of rounds, Calzaghe's chin has been very impressive.
Both guys I've been impressed with all around their skill, the determination, the conditioning, everything.
Calzaghe's answer is to mix in body shots now. 2 good left hands to the body.
Downstairs, Joe.
Now he comes back upstairs. Here comes Calzaghe.
Kessler's hurt.
And Ortega chooses this moment to warn Calzaghe for holding. The crowd doesn't like that. That's a break for Mikkel Kessler. But Calzaghe comes right back. Takes a left hook for his trouble.
And Kessler is still standing up to punch. He's not trying to play it safe.
Once again, it's a fight, not a boxing match.
What a fight.
Emanuel Stewart is standing up, just like everyone in the crowd.
It's the only right thing. You have to fight him. Attack, attack, attack. You can't afford anything else. This is the 9th round.
There's only two more independent sprints, Joe. Okay, come on.
Don't go raggedy, right? Don't go raggedy, all right?
Right, combination, boom, boom, boom.
Here you see the body shot that I believe that Kessler was hurt with, which was a right shot to the body right there. I think that's what hurt him right there. And afterwards, it was something happened and the referee gave him a warning, but I think it gave Kessler a break that he needed.
Some people thought that Mikkel Kessler's well-known power, his clear punching power, would diminish Joe Calzaghe's punch count. It hasn't happened. Calzaghe's had at least 2 rounds in which he's thrown more than 100 punches. He's letting his hands go just as he always does. And chopping away there.
And Calzaghe is punching with more authority. Not just a punch count, but it's a power punches.
Cutting right hand by Kessler.
Particularly hard to do against an accurate counterpuncher with power like Kessler. In Calzaghe, win or lose, you are looking at a special fighter.
Both of these guys are special here. Kessler has never been in this type of a situation, but he's still punching with full power and desperation, too.
Kessler trying to go to the body with his long right hand. Calzaghe has held the edge in body punching, largely because he's focused more there and thrown more. Another non-stop Calzaghe barrage. And if stamina becomes a factor down the stretch, the body punching figures in. Good straight left hand by Calzaghe. Kessler lands a stiff left.
Yeah,
Calzaghe comes back with a combination.
Kessler seems to be a little bit on the tired side, but he's still punching very hard and can never relax with him because he can turn the fight around with one solid blow still.
Well, he's had a lot of big moments, just not enough of them. It's one of the oldest dictums in sports. On the road, you've got to play to win. Kessler's on the road here. He's got to let more of it hang out and play to win.
Throughout his entire career, what Kessler does has been enough to win. He hasn't been forced into a 2nd or 3rd year yet, and here he's being forced into it, and I think he's trying to do it, but Calzaghe continues to elevate as Kessler picks up the pace.
Calzaghe is very, very special. I'm just looking at the things he's doing, how he's making his adjustments.
Look at the hand speed.
Everything in the book. And he's fighting with the same tempo and accuracy and speed that he did in the first round.
He's willing to take risks over and over to let his hands go. Immediately following our telecast, stay tuned for the premiere of Countdown to Dakota Mosley. Our behind-the-scenes look at both fighters as they prepare for their welterweight showdown 1 week from tonight in Madison Square Garden, live on pay-per-view. What a great, great fight that could be.
You can do better, Joe, okay? Bam, 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 bam. Use your rallies to work with score points. Use your rally.
When he gets forward, use your right and the left. Go left and use your right. Which round is this? This is the 10th. Go.
There we see body punches again, which I would have never respected that Calzaghe would be more effective in a fight with body punches than instead of with his jabs and his regular head punches.
Just wading forward, trying to hit anything he can. In the last 2 rounds, Calzaghe has outlanded Kessler by CompuBox count 50-32. Harold, how do you have it coming to the 10th?
Okay, Jim, 7 rounds to 2, 88, 83, Joe Calzaghe. Jim, Mikkel Kessler's got to do something. He's got to go to plan B or he's going to lose this fight. Joe Calzaghe just giving him a boxing lesson. Jab, jab, straight left. Jab, jab, straight left. Over and over and over again. By the way, Mike Ortega really took away Joe Calzaghe's advantage in the 8th round. He had Kessler hurt, and Ortega yanked him off to warn him about a shot behind the head. You can't do that. If a guy's got the other guy hurt, don't jump in. You know, you can warn him, but don't jump in. 8-2, Joe Calzaghe.
Emmanuel, every viewer can see the swelling above Kessler's left eye from Calzaghe's right hand, but they're not using the end swell between rounds on that left eye.
I'm surprised, too, but I really don't think they're even prepared. This is new territory for them. I mean, Calzaghe's had a lot of tough fights, injuries and whatnot. I don't think that Kessler's camp was just prepared for this type of a war. They have not had the experience in this situation.
As they pointed out in our meeting yesterday, Kessler's never been hurt in a fight. Maybe they didn't think it was possible. What a trade. What a war they've got in round 10 now. But Calzaghe looks cool as a cucumber amid the fire.
Yes, he is. It seems like he's more comfortable in this situation than Kessler.
Kessler is into a desperation mode of throwing enormous right-hand counter punches, hoping to catch Calzaghe with a home run punch.
Calzaghe is content to just keep letting his hands go and hit the target. There's a big flurry by Kessler, but only a couple of the punches landed.
You're right, Jim. It's a really good flurry, but I didn't see that many punches land. But at least Kessler is trying. He realizes that he's losing. He's fighting as if there's some anxiety and anticipation of trying to win the fight. He hasn't given up like a lot of guys would do at this stage.
Well, for years, many in the sport have wanted to see Joe Calzaghe's chin tested. It's been tested tonight and has come through with flying colors.
Well, he's impressed me tonight because definitely these are the two best super middleweights in the world and maybe two of the best fighters in any weight division today.
And I think there's something to be said for an unconventional style. As great as Kessler is, you can prepare to fight somebody who's totally conventional. There's nobody else in the world exactly like Joe Calzaghe.
It looks to me that Calzaghe may have broken Kessler in the second half of that round.
It's good. As you're doing for stepping into him. Don't let you can't handle second attack. You can't handle second attack. Top and bottom, top and bottom. Off that lovely job you're doing. Fantastic. That's the one, the last 30 seconds was beautiful. Oh, more, two more.
You know what it's about now. Knock him out. You know it. Just keep hitting him. Just keep going at him.
Breathing. Come on now. Getting tired. I know. 11 round. I told you. Don't get excited.
You notice something before the beginning of each round, Calzaghe gets up first. Psychologically, that's really rough on your opponent, especially when he's tired. But every round, he gets up 15 seconds before the bell rings. And it impresses the judges.
And there have been 2 occasions on which he didn't sit down on the stool at all.
Yeah, and
which was an old George Foreman tactic for proving his dominance. Jabs in the 10th round. Calzaghe 14 out of 42. Only 10 of 28 for Kessler. Harold Lederman has not found a round to give to Mikkel Kessler in quite some time. 2 rounds to go, and you heard one of the trainers in Kessler's corner say, "You're not doing what we tell you to do."
Kessler's in his prime. He fought this fight as well as he could fight it. In the last round, knowing he needs a knockout, he tried to make it happen. Calzaghe weathered the storm. And I don't know if Kessler really believes he can win this fight anymore.
Well, I think Kessler's fighting a very good fight. He just said that with a phenomenal fighting machine. Any other fighter in the world, possibly, even in different weight divisions, he would probably be more successful and maybe beat them. Well, Calzaghe is in a whole zone by himself tonight. He's fighting a great fight.
He's been in a zone by himself for a long time, Emmanuel. If you look at his amateur and professional career, Joe Calzaghe hasn't lost a fight in 17 years. There are a lot of people who denigrated his opposition, but when you look at that record, there's a reason. and he's showing it tonight.
Well, he's really impressing me tonight. The Lacey fight wasn't as impressive as this fight is to me, because I thought a lot of situations made Lacey very vulnerable that night, but he's fighting a fantastic fight tonight.
Lacey was a far more limited fighter in style than Mikkel Kessler. And not as tall, not as rangy.
Yeah, this is a guy that matches up physically to him.
Kessler, 7 years younger, 1 inch taller, 2 inches longer in the arm, measured from the armpit to the end of the fist. Just as unbeaten as Calzaghe.
And as he's being chopped down,
and just as determined still to try to win this fight.
That's right. As he's being chopped down, he's throwing back.
Well, you guys make a great point. This isn't necessarily the exposure of Mikkel Kessler as something less than what he was supposed to be.
Yes, it's just a fantastic performance by a fantastic fighting machine named Joe Calzaghe. Kessler is still a very good fighter.
Somewhere Bernard Hopkins is watching. Calzaghe calls him Old Hopkins. But the discussion has been on for quite some time. And what a fascinating fight it would be because of Hopkins' counterpunching style against Calzaghe's constant flood of punches.
It's hard for me to see any super middleweight, light heavyweight, anyone dominating this fight the way he's fighting now unless it was an exceptionally great fighter. Anybody's going to have troubles with him.
11 rounds down. Does Kessler have a miracle rally? Or is it another magical night for Calzaghe in Wales?
I know he's annoying, I know it. You gotta go out there and be hard on him now. He's suffering. Keep going at him.
Last round, tie him up. Okay, keep it tight.
Dominate from him. You can go wild, chocolate box before he punches. All right, let jab work, let jab work, let jab work. Okay,
give me
you
that
win.
time. Okay, you got it. Now listen, keep it tidy. Don't go raggedy and keep stepping up to your right.
You know, it's fascinating, Emmanuel. Kessler puts up a brave and spirited fight in every round. But between rounds, sitting in his corner, he looks absolutely shell-shocked.
Yes, he looks like he's giving up his that look, but he comes back and starts fighting as soon as the bell rings.
You know why he's shell-shocked? Because he's not doing anything wrong, Kessler. He's doing everything right. Calzaghe is a fighter against whom you can do everything right, and he'll make it come out wrong.
In fact, Kessler expressed exactly that before the fight when he said Joe's style is to spoil your boxing. That's a great phrase for what's happened tonight. He has spoiled Kessler's boxing.
You see how smart that Calzaghe is. He was getting hit with those right hands early out. He would miss punches. Now he's beginning to bend over to his left to avoid getting hit with the right hands coming from Kessler. To his left. Calzaghe's left.
Kessler's fighting like an animal right now.
But I like that.
Good uppercut by Kessler. Momentarily stunned Calzaghe. With his left eye closing up, Kessler continues to try to find the one answer that will solve the riddle that has befuddled him through most of the second half of the fight.
These are super middleweights, but they harken back to the great middleweight matchups of all time. Graziano and Marcel Cerdan and Tony Zale would be proud watching these guys.
They're both fighting like two undefeated fighters, too.
Calzaghe's going to bank on offense down the stretch. It's what brought him this far. Kessler appears to need the knockout.
He needs it, and he's trying to get it.
Great body punch by Kessler. Calzaghe stands tall and keeps throwing. Big right hand by the Dane. Here comes the Welshman. Mikkel Kessler's best round in the second half of the fight is not enough to change the probable outcome here. And the crowd knows what they've seen.
But I'm anxious to see his next fight.
Calzaghe's almost in a Ray Robinson position where, as good as you might be in the super middleweight division, I don't know if this guy can be beaten by what's out there right now.
Well, he himself has said, if I can beat Mikkel Kessler, there's nothing left at 168 pounds. I'm headed to 175. That, of course, overlooks the possibility of a fight against a Kelly Pavlik or a Jermaine Taylor, either of whom might want to fight Calzaghe after their probable rematch at 166 pounds. You saw Harold Lederman's final scorecard, a clear and decisive victory for the Welshman, Joe Calzaghe. Great fights often come down to the force of will. Joe Calzaghe's will for 44 fights now has been indomitable. And let's take a look at the three judges who will render the official verdict. Lederman's final score was 117-111 Calzaghe. That means 9 rounds to 3. Two of the three judges have come from the United States. Their identities flow from the governing bodies whose belts are being contested here tonight. Massimo Baravecchio of Italy, very inexperienced, only 5 title fights.
For 2 undefeated champions.
And now Michael Buffer's going to announce the decision. The other 2 judges are Rafael Cais and John Stewart, or Raul Cais and John Stewart of the United States. But let's go to Buffer for the scores.
117-111. John Stewart, 116-112. Massimo Baravecchio, 116-112. All to the winner by unanimous decision. The fighting pride of Newbridge, Wales. Now the undisputed super middleweight champion of the world, Joe Calzaghe.
So all 3 judges see this fight pretty much in the same vein as Harold Lederman, and it is a clear, decisive, unanimous decision for Calzaghe. As I mentioned, 44 times he's gone to the ring as a professional, 44 times he's won. Mikkel Kessler, I should say, is for the first time in 40 fights a loser. Final CompuBox numbers, and they underline the clarity of the decision. Calzaghe landing 112 more, throwing, look at that, 425 more punches than did Mikkel Kessler. Jabs,